A mother is a student.
A mom is someone who has been blessed enough.
I believe a mother is anyone who is able to give care.
Feb of 2021 was when I discovered I was pregnant with my first child. Number one, I was excited.
The very first time I found that I was pregnant, the first thought was I'm going to die.
The process of becoming a mother, the emotions, the life-changing decisions you have to make.
But I'd want my child to freely express her feelings.
I'm a tough love mom, okay, because that's how I was brought up. But I've also learned how to put a bit of affection to it.
Because there are times you honestly have to be, you realize you have to be strict and stuff, but that doesn't mean kuchapa mtoto.
You are on a journey of being a mother. So in your own terms, who is a mother?
A mother is a student. Because that little human being has taught me so much. She continues to teach me a lot. But a mother is also an angel because you have been trusted with a life from conception inside of you to when they're growing. And I was telling my friend this the other day that 99% of parenthood is actually on the mother, not even the father, and we appreciate them and we love them, but the biggest role is played by the mother, especially before a child gets to teenagehood. That is where the biggest role is played by the mother, and that is why even when they're speaking, we call it mother tongue and not father tongue. You get that? Because the biggest role is on the motherhood. So a mother is a student, and a mother is, I think, an angel.
A mother, oh my gosh, who is a mom? A mom is someone who has been blessed enough to bring life into this crazy world and has the chance to nurture this life into a full grown-up. Yeah, off the top of my head. Speaking from the heart, yeah. Motherhood has been a roller coaster, but it's been a fun ride, not a scary roller coaster. Of course, it's just a roller coaster. There are those parts where it's scary, there are those parts where it's fun and crazy. All I'll say is I'm loving every minute of it, and I can't wait to grow into, this role that I've been blessed with. I was actually speaking to my friends and saying, you guys never told me it's like this. And they're like, we can only tell you so much. Motherhood is basically something you have to experience yourself. Yeah, that's what I can say about motherhood or being a mom.
I believe a mother is anyone who is able to give care, who is able to nurture, and to give guidance to a child. Because mothering is not only about being able to carry the child for 9 months and giving birth, but it actually has a process of taking care, guiding, and nurturing that life to be what it needs to be and what God called and ordained it to be. Yeah.
So one would want to know when you first got pregnant for the first time and what came to mind at that moment.
Okay. The very first time I found that I was pregnant, the first thought was I'm going to die. I had a very harsh mother, very strict mother. And here I was getting pregnant out of wedlock. I had cleared high school. I think there's also a notion which I can clear here. I never got pregnant when I was in school. Because I keep seeing people saying I got pregnant when I was in school. No. I got pregnant after clearing high school. I think a year or two after clearing high school. But I was not married, and my mom was very strict. She was harsh. And those days of ours, getting pregnant out of marriage was, you get stigmatized for it. So as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was like, I'm going to die. I will be killed. And so it got me thinking about so many things in the process. I started thinking, my mother can't know I'm pregnant. And I was going to college. I was just signed up for secretarial and IT college. At Loreto Msongari, they had a college at that time. I don't know if the college is still there. And so I ensured that I booked myself into a hostel instead of commuting from home so that I can be able to hide my pregnancy. And then I made up my mind that I was not going to keep the baby. Like I said, I knew I was going to die. So I worked with some people called Crisis Pregnancy. I don't know if they're there. They were there then, and they used to help teenagers who found themselves pregnant. So they would either get into a safe house where you'd give birth, and then they would arrange for an adoption. So that was my option, to have the child and give the baby away for adoption. So as God would have it, it didn't happen. The day I found myself in labor, I didn't know I was in labor. I just know I burst my waters. And so I asked a friend of mine that we were in hostel together, we were in college together. And she says, I think you're pregnant. Actually, I had gone to visit my aunt, and I broke the waters, and I was like, whoa. So now what is happening? So I called my friend, and she said, I think you're ready to give birth. So here I am, I've come from the hostel, and I'm supposed to be spending the weekend with my grandmother and my auntie, and then this is happening. So I had to come up with a very good story why I needed to go back to the hostel. So I told my auntie, I need to go back to the hostel because water has come, so I need to go wash clothes.
It's water, so.
Yes. So I went back, packed my bags, and took myself to Pumwani Hospital.
Wait, just before you continue, your grandmother and your aunt,
They didn't know I was pregnant.
your pregnancy didn't show?
No, I don't have big pregnancies, actually. They don't show. And you see, now I wasn't spending a lot of time with them. Remember, I was in the hostel. So anytime I came, of course, I'd come dressed in baggy clothes, and I always used to avoid spending the night as well. So I'd come, hang out, and I was energetic right through my pregnancy. I was really energetic. My pregnancies so far have not put me down. I'm very active when I'm pregnant. So I took myself to Pumwani, and there was a lady that had been assigned to go meet a midwife who was to help out with the whole process of making sure that I give birth. Then, during adoption, they don't like you to meet the baby because then it creates a bond and then it becomes a whole story. So I walk into the labor room, and I normally have very short labors, like 10, 15 minutes I've given birth. So I gave birth quite fast, but right in between when I was laboring and the point where I gave birth, I think the lady who was supposed to have helped me give birth was called to attend to something. So someone else helped me have the baby, and they didn't have the information that my baby was to be adopted. And so they gave me my baby.
Hey.
And I went into the ward. Of course, you give birth, you go to the ward. And while I was in the ward, I was thinking to my mind, now what's happening? Now I've said creating a bond with this child, but I don't want this child. I'm not prepared for this child. I've not done any shopping. Like, I was already set in my mind I was going to give away this baby. So it so happened that my friend who I was in college with, who I was sharing a college in, and we were roommates in the hostel, she had reached out to my aunt, and she called my aunt and told my aunt, so tulikuwa tumeenda shopping Garissa Lodge, and then Kanze fell sick. And the only hostel that was near was Pumwani. Okay, so of course my aunt in her mind, she didn't think, but Pumwani is a maternity hospital. And by that time she was working for Kenya Bus. And Kenya Bus was right next to Pumwani. Depoelo wapo karibu na Pumwani. So she called my mother and she told my mother, oh, Kanze, my mother was up country. Called my mother and told my mother, Kanze is unwell. So she said, oh, funny enough, I'm on my way. So, I think it's maternal instincts. So my mother arrived here in the morning, that morning. Me, do I know? I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm still in the ward trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this child. I have no clothes. I have no plan. And I was about to do my final exams. Like, I gave birth on a weekend, and the following week I was doing my final exams for college. So it was looking really tricky. And then I'm waiting for guys of crisis pregnancy to come. They're not showing up. So I gave birth like at midnight. So tukashinda, tukalala one night. So the following day in the morning, I go to shower. And then I come back. Now I was at the bed right next to the door and where the nurse's station was. So those days, Pumwani kids used to be stolen. So you have to ongea with your bedmate, akuangalilia mtoto, as you're going to shower. So I have come back and I'm thinking, now I need to think about what I'm going to do, thinking about all those things. But as I come, I'm seeing two ladies standing at the entrance and they look very familiar. And as I come closer, I realize there was my mother, Jane Mebunda Dena, and the sister, Patha Dena. And I was like, God, this is where the earth needs to open. And you need to swallow me because I have no idea what I'm going to do and I don't know what I'm going to say.
Feb of 2021 was when I discovered I was pregnant with my first child. I was, number one, I was excited. and I was very scared because we had not planned Kalingia. So that was the initial feeling. But I was so excited because for some reason, to me, it was a confirmation of so many things. Actually, I delivered a stillborn in the first pregnancy. That was in 2021. It was the toughest journey for me. First of all, I didn't have morning sickness. So I always tell people I had the smoothest pregnancy. Both of my pregnancies have been smooth. Physically, I was okay until I got to 34 weeks, and my water broke before 40 weeks. I go to hospital, and I'm told, unfortunately, there is no fetal activity. So it was wow. So the first thing was I broke down, because this is my bundle of joy I've carried for 34 weeks. I had so many questions I didn't understand. At some point I asked God, why did you let me carry up to 34 weeks and then take her away just for 6 weeks, shy to 40 weeks. So there were so many questions that were not answered. However, it brought, because I shared that story on social media, the beauty about it is that I got so many stories from different women who have gone through either miscarriage or a stillbirth, and it brought to light something that has not been spoken about so many times. The only thing that is vocal about stillbirths and miscarriages are bad eyes and baby showers in our watoto. That's the only thing people talk about. Yeah. And yet we have so many things that are medical issues and problems. People don't talk about. So for me, what that did is, number one, it made me accept death. Losing my child made me accept death. And it's the only sure thing in life. You don't know if you'll wake up tomorrow, but we're all sure we'll die at some point. It made me accept that death will come at any point, at any age. I know there's that 70 age that is there that people say unafika 70 after that, but losing my child at that age made me accept that. And then it has also made me now want to vocalize more the issues around maternal health. So it was a tough journey for me, and I went into healing, took a break from work, went into healing, came back, 3 months later conceived. Hatukucheza sisi na sisi. But the doctors advised us that if you want to conceive again, the best thing is to try immediately, because the birth hormones are still active and it helps somehow fill the void. The other baby does not replace the other baby, but it helps you with the healing process. Yeah.
The process of becoming a mother, the emotions, the life-changing decisions you have to make. All of a sudden your mother's baby, that never changes. Then all of a sudden you have to take care of someone, and then the baby comes. But in your mind, I don't know why I never thought, or rather I thought perhaps it would be 50-50, or rather I just didn't think about that part. And the baby comes, and as much as your husband wants to help you, it can't be 50-50. You're the mother. You're still the primary caregiver. Your primary everything. Your child's food. So that was crazy for me. I think I would say that was something that I was like, what? What do you mean? Like I should have thought about. I should have at least thought about it, but I didn't. In my head, I was like, it will be like, let's say, even TikTok, where the dad is up half the time. We pick days. But in reality, he has to go to work. Such things are crazy. So the most surprising part for me is, it starts with me and it ends with me. Still going back there. Like, I have to be the first one to wake up, and I have to be the last one to sleep. And then the other realization for me was, I will never, for 35 years of my life, I chose when I want to wake up. I chose when I want to sleep. I chose when I wanted to do anything. Right now, I literally live for someone else. I live for someone else. So I can no longer, or rather, I don't know when I will ever be like, it's time for me to go to bed. Let me go. I'm still where I'm like, okay, baby has to sleep first. Then now I go to sleep. I have to wake up in the middle of the night, no matter how many times he wakes up. I will have to stop my sleep and go. And then in the middle of that, I still have to find time for myself. meaning I have to work out. I have to find time when I want to work out, meaning for me is I have to wake up at 4:30 every morning to find a way to go to the gym. Then so everything is surprising. A lot of things are surprising, to be honest. It's not that one thing. One day your baby will say a word and you're like, what? What are you saying? Right now my son has this thing where he does and you're just like, bro, you're like 1 year old. So basically everything is a surprise.
There've been talk about gentle parenting, and that is like more softer than maybe what we grew up to. So would you want to raise your baby in a different way from how you were raised, maybe?
Yes, I would want to do it differently on some parts, especially on the parts of our parents were also going through trauma from their parents, and so there was some that was passed on to us. But I'd want my child to freely express her feelings, freely tell me this is happening, freely tell me this is what is happening. I've seen it with my niece and nephew. Oh, that girl expresses herself. When you try to say something she did, like my sister is very fond of doing that. She tells me, nduta alifanya. She's like, waje kusema maneno yangu wewe. So I'd want that. I'd want more of that. I'd want to be friends with my child. I would want, because we've had to reparent ourselves. Later in life, gone into therapy because of things maybe that happened to us. I want, and I'm really trying to do it differently. So yes, not because they did it wrong. I always say they did the best they could have at that time with the resources they had. And now we can also do better with the resources we have, with the knowledge we have, with the time we have, with the money we have. I will definitely do it differently. And it has started even with the baby-friendly vaccine. Because why? Hey, maybe I was like, I am not ready to rock my child's G after that jab. So I was like, there's an option of baby friendly. Okay, my insurance can cover that. Yes. Wacha apatiwe hiyo. Even meno. Wangu napeleka kwa dentist. Mimi, we will not cry the whole day. We will not apana. I will take her to the dentist. You want to travel? I want to travel with my child. I want to expose her from as young as she might be to the other world, because exposure does a lot to the human brain, and it helps even appreciate different cultures. It also helps with emotional intelligence. I don't know if you've interacted with people who talk just anyhowly, and their excuse is sisi tuko hivyo kwetu. But come on, hauko kwenyu sahi, uko huku nje una interact na watu. So it will, I pray and I work so hard to make sure I get the funds and the resources to expose her to so much in the good way. Yeah.
I'm a tough love mom, okay, because that's how I was brought up. But I've also learned how to put a bit of affection to it. So, in fact, when people see my relationship with my son, Nathaniel, we are friends. Like, we are really friends. But he knows where the boundary is. He knows she's mommy. This is the point where mommy has spoken, and this is the point where I'm speaking to my friend. And it's also the same thing I'm trying to grow with my 4-year-old. So, and that's why I said, I think it's important. And I think the reason why I probably had my relationship with my mom was not as good was because she came from a strict parenting. My grandfather my grandfather here, he was harsh. Like, he was seriously harsh. So automatically, that's how my mother interpreted parenthood and mother. So she was harsh, including all her sisters. It's not only her, all her sisters. Like, the day you find yourself on the wrong side of in either, you'll find it, you'll jikuta in a bad place. So naturally, even you as a parent, we always realize we parent how we were parented. That is the natural thing to do. We parent how we were parented. So me knowing that I was parented by my mother in this way, and this is what made me pull away from her or made me rebellious, I now try to do it differently, is what I've tried to do differently with my son. So I listen, and I listen and I say no, a categorical no. He knows it's a categorical no. And even when I say no, I explain why I'm saying no. So he knows it's not, there are no gray areas. We have no gray areas. He knows, and it doesn't mean that I didn't beat, because I beat. I am the beating parent. Yes.
Ooh, I am a mix of everything, to be honest. Right now, I'm a very gentle nurturer, or rather, because I want to lead with that. But then now that he's starting to become very naughty, so Of course, I will throw in, I'll just mix everything, authoritarian, like, yeah, because there are times you honestly have to be, you realize you have to be strict and stern, you know, but that doesn't mean kuchapa mtoto, you know, so yeah, it's a learning curve. I'm still trying to discover exactly where I fall, but I think I just, I nitpick from everything, you know, there are great parts out of every, even that authoritarian has some great benefits, you know, so it's just picking and choosing the best ones and trying to put them all in one philosophy. Yeah. Because there are times you honestly have to be, you realize you have to be strict and stern, you know, but that doesn't mean kuchapa mtoto.
So do you have specific goals or aspirations that you want your kids to achieve?
Yes. I'm really praying that she's artistic. Her father is also artistic. I'm very artistic also. And I'll try as much as possible to bring her also to work, see what I do, see if it's something she'd be interested in. Because, allow me to quote this, but see Wahindi, the way they run their businesses, they bring in their kids. During holidays, they are there working with them. It's only us who take our kids to school to be employed. But you have a whole business that your kids can inherit and do that. So I'm really hoping if she is not, I'll support her in whatever other area that I'll see she's talented. But I'm keen on talent. I really would want her to, because you can only be successful in something that you're passionate about. So I'll be really keen on what she's interested in. I'll try bring her into the art world, see what she wants or where she sees herself. I'd want her to achieve awareness, self-love. Tumejipenda tukiwa wakubwa. And it's so sad, but again, our parents did the best they could. So that's also an achievement I'd want her to have as early as when she's just young. Those ones, yeah.
It's important to affirm your child. If there's anything that I have learned also with my 18-year-old, it's important to affirm. Even when it's on the negative, affirm. He didn't pass well in school. He didn't meet your expectations, but affirm him that, you know, you are capable of doing much better. And I always keep saying that we have this thing as parents that we are number one. You know, we were number one in school. We passed. You know, we were always the best students. When we know clearly that tulikuwa wa kusaidiwa. You know, in school, tulikuwa wa kusaidiwa. And I have noticed that just affirming my child and letting my child know that be the best that you can be. It's the most important thing. Be the best that you can be. This is the best you can be. You are sure this is the best you can be. So you're always challenging them to be better, but also affirming them in who they are. That way, it always challenges them to be better. Because I realized, like for me, I wasn't really good in maths. You know, and they say genes follow. You know, my baby daddy either, because it was a baby daddy, was also not very good in maths. But our son is doing very well in maths. Oh, wow. You guys. So it's not because, I think it's not also because that Jemimah was the best, so your child has to be the best. Yeah. But I think it's how you walk the journey with the child and then nurture what they are good at. And one of the things that I realized was that my son is very artistic and sporty. So I chose to draw those things out of him. And because he loved these things very much, then you attach academics, right into it. Not the threat of, you're not going to swim if you don't pass. But, you know, you're a very good swimmer. You see how you take time to do practice. How about if you practiced doing this? Exactly. Yes. So I have found that to be a tactic that has worked with my 18-year-old. And always knowing that I'd rather have a child who is confident in themselves, because I have seen what lack of confidence has done to me. So I'd rather have a child who is confident in who they are than one who has all the degrees but is not confident.
I love you, buddy. You're so interesting. You're so funny. You make me laugh so much, and I can't wait to continue being your mother and to see you grow, because you're just the best little boy. And Mommy will always be here for you. I will always protect you. Yeah, never feel stressed, because as long as I'm here, I got your back. I got you.
Oh, Makeba Nduta, I love you. And I affirm that, and I tell you that every day. I want you to grow knowing that there is nothing you cannot achieve in this world. And I want you to grow into a woman who will not only impact yourself, but impact so many people in this society. Always remember that Mama loves you.
That I gave my best, and I've done my own, and above all, that I remember them in prayer every single day. That they will turn out to be the young men that I have called them to be. I called Amani, because I desired for him to be a peacemaker. Guided by the prayers of St. Francis Assisi, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. I used to say that prayer for myself when I gave birth. And truly, by the time you provoke him, you've really pushed him.
For you, Mom, who's watching this, you're doing very well. You're doing the best you can. I pray and I hope you also prioritize yourself. For all mothers in waiting, I would like to send you a lot of grace as you wait for your bundle of joy. For mothers who've probably just lost through a miscarriage or a stillbirth, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And hopefully you walk the journey with a professional, and I send you more grace. To nursing moms, those who are still there, more grace to you. Remember, that period doesn't last. After that, you go into another one and into another one. And a happy Mother's Day to you.
I'd want to encourage every mother to understand that there's no blueprint when it comes to motherhood. You are the best mother that your child can have. No matter what the circumstance is, don't blame yourself. Get out and be the best you can be for your child, because you're the best mother that your child can have. That's why God gave you that child.
Mothers, I feel you. As a mother, I understand everything that you're going through. Just know you're doing an excellent job raising that little one. And happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. May you have the best day. May you get the sleep that you have been lacking. May you get that car you have been begging your husband to buy for you. May you get that phone so that you can take cute videos of your babies, and make sure to just document every single thing about your baby, because they're growing so fast. Even if your phone has no space, upgrade, get a new phone because yeah, time flies. And then also take care of yourself and protect your heart, protect your mind, and all the best in all your endeavors. Good job, Mom.